So Joe Biden said recently during an interview that he was willing to drop out of the presidential race for medical reasons. But I would like to take a look at that moment to see if he really meant what he was saying, especially because he was diagnosed with COVID shortly after. And well, the way he was going up those stairs of Air Force One were a bit concerning, because you might believe that this video was slowed down, and no, it has not been slowed down. Joe Biden going up the stairs without a mask. You know that I thought that when you had COVID, in order to not spread it to anybody, the right thing to do is to wear a mask, or maybe even 2 masks to be especially sure if you don't want to become a super spreader. But well, that is a topic for another video. And that's what happens that when I was looking at the interview and I saw a few signals that made little sense. The first signal that I saw was when he was asked about Donald Trump.
How will you take him on from this point?
Like I've been taking him on, based on the issues. I mean, look, everybody said, I said we got to tone down the rhetoric about violence. The January 6th folks were good folks, and they should be released from prison, etc. But there are serious differences we have on the issues of the future of the country. And I'm going to take them on directly.
You can imagine that he had some resistance to that question, and the topic of Donald Trump triggers him a bit. The trigger in this case was pretty much about his blinking, something that is the complete opposite that we have seen so far in Joe Biden. You remember that I made 2 analyses, both on the debate and one comparison of him giving a speech a couple months ago, when he spent almost 1 minute without blinking. So it's something odd in terms of body language that you see in similar circumstances. One was a press conference, and this was an interview, and he had been asked these first warming up questions that should not be hard to answer. But even so, he has this really fast blinking that is consistent with a strong emotion. Maybe he feels angry or upset about Trump. Maybe he is disgusted by Trump in any way, and that is the way he channels that disgust, by that rapid blinking. We don't know, but what we do know is that this is not a regular way of expression. Now, about the actual video when he was talking about quitting the race,
if I had some medical condition that emerged, if the doctors came to me and said, you got this problem, that problem. But I made a serious mistake in the whole debate. And look, when I originally ran, you may remember it, I said I was going to be a transitional candidate. And I thought that I'd be able to move from this to pass it on to someone else. But I didn't anticipate things getting so divided. And quite frankly, I think the only thing age brings is a little bit of wisdom. And I think I've demonstrated that I know how to get things done for the country, in spite of the fact that we thought we couldn't get it done. But there's more to do, and I'm reluctant to walk away from that.
You see that this topic also triggers a burst of heavy blinking. But not only that, we have a bit of a leaning forward in which, well, he wanted to be heard. Maybe he wanted the topic to be important. He wanted to be clear. That's why you lean forward a bit. But the other thing that I noticed during that answer to the question if he had considered dropping out of the presidential race is that he changed topic like 4 times. He talks about the medical condition, and immediately after he says that he made a serious mistake in the whole debate. What does he mean by that? Does he mean that debating was a mistake? Because you have just noticed that he never actually says that in case a doctor finds me some kind of trouble, then I will drop out of the presidential race. He never says that directly. He only implies. And after saying that he made a mistake during the debate, he changed the topic to the fact that when he originally ran, he was going to be, in his words, a transitional candidate. As in, well, he was going to lead the transition to whatever Trump had done, to a new dawn of democracy, if you want to put it like that. So he makes more emphasis in his answer to this question, if he's going to drop out of the presidential race, to the fact that it went so well these 4 years that even if he was thinking of just a transitional mandate. He's more than willing to go for the next 4 years because he has been doing great. So these are the couple concerns that I have. He did not address directly the question that he would actually drop out of the presidential race. He just mentioned that perhaps the opinion of medical professionals could change his mind, but he never even said those words, like change my mind or quit the race. So I don't think he was willing to say those words, especially if he switched this topic so fast and he had this, I made a mistake at the debate, right in the middle without much context, when it was not just a mistake. The debate was a total mess from beginning to end. So he's trying to downplay something that the whole nation saw live and evade the question about his cognitive abilities. And my idea is if someone was clear and confident about his own cognitive abilities, he would say, I don't know what is the problem that you're talking about. I'm fine. I've been checked every year of my mandate and physicians say that I'm doing good. All this long answer justifying himself in which he has done such a good job that he needs to run for a second time is extremely suspicious. That is the kind of things in which the person not only does not answer the question, but tries to change the topic to something that actually benefits him. It's like when he's asked about, what can you tell to the people who are struggling to go from paycheck to paycheck to get to the end of the month? What do you tell Americans that are struggling right now?
What do you tell them?
Well, I tell them what's happening is inflation is coming down. It is coming down. You have 16 Nobel laureates in economics saying that it's coming down. I think you're going to see, I have not spoken to the Fed. My guess is they're going to reduce rates.
And he says, well, what they are going through, the inflation that they are experiencing does not exist. It is coming down. I got 16 Nobel laureates in economics that say that it's coming down. So these people that have trouble paying all their bills, they are just wrong. I mean, that's not very empathic from him. So from my prior analysis of Joe Biden and what I've seen in this attitude during this interview, I don't think he's willing to even consider at any minute dropping out of the race. He just said that because he might be in many ways embarrassed for his performance at the debate, which was, of course, a train wreck. But I would like to know what you think about this in the comments. Don't forget to download my 100 body language tips right in the description of this video. My name is Jesus Enrique Rosas. I'm the body language guy. Much love and bliss.